Hey everybody, welcome back. Stephen and John from Davernich European Martial Arts School. We are going to revisit our old friend, the Poleaxe. This is such a fun toy to play with. It's devastating. I've done other videos on this, but I want to show you an action that I was working on just recently with a student. It's something I think you'll enjoy. Starting in a high guard, facing your opponent, our natural strike from this area, if checking measure, is a straight thrust to the head. But because of where his staff is, he's covered. What I'm going to do is I want to initiate his movement to start off with. So I'm going to pull my lead hand down, because then from there I can do my same cut short and then thrust underneath. But he's smart. He knows this. So I start here. As I bring this down, he starts to get ready, and I'm just going to bring my point forward and thrust him over his staff now. And because I'm doing a thrust to the face, I'm moving on top of his staff. So starting from here, this comes down, and I can just use my cue to poke him in the face. Or from this position, as I am in here, I bring this down, he goes to cover that, I begin, and he covers with his staff and hits me in the side of the head with that same cover. So he's not even going to defend himself, he's actually just going to counter strike me. Hit me in the head first. So we start here, I bring this down, transfer, boom, there's that blow. So I need to defend myself against this incoming blow. This is where I have to use the mechanical advantage that we refer to as dynamic against static. If John is cutting down at me with a straight blow, he's dynamic on this plane to my head. I'm aware of that, which means he's static on this plane. And this is something that George Silver in 1599 said about thrusts. And while this is not a thrust, it follows the same mechanical advantage. The problem with the thrust, according to Silver, is that it only takes the power of a child to set it aside. Which means, for what I'm looking at, is if he's dynamic on this plane, he's static on this plane, and it doesn't take a lot of power to move it offline. And what that tells us is I don't need to use a lot of strength to beat his staff offline. All I need to do is give it a tap. Because of the way this weapon is being used, like kayaking, we have other videos on that, I know how to put a strike onto his static line by moving the other end. So if we start again, I'm here, I'm going to be successful. I pull this down, thrust him in the face. This time he's successful. I bring it down, thrust, he just countercuts me and hits me in the head. No good for me. So to counter that, I bring this down, bring this up. Now I bring my head out, that moves my cue over, then I pull the head to my hip, and then just unwind with my own strike to his head. Little nervous, sir?
Oh, that is scary.
So if we do that again. So I stand here and just bring that back into play. I've stated in other videos, and I want to say it again, we are not wearing masks on purpose. I do not want either one of us to have a sense of safety that means I would strike him in the head or he would strike me in the head, because that fencing mask will not do its job. I can't afford to have that sense of safety. My partner's safety is in my control, not in his safety gear. The safety gear is there to catch what we miss. If you practice this fast, somebody will get hurt. Practice this slow, be perfect, be in control. Then you can start getting a little bit faster when you put on stronger safety equipment. Even with these vulcanized rubber heads, this will still lay your partner out. There's no joke about these. These are heavy pieces of training equipment. The only way to really safely use this is in a metal helmet.
Yeah.
We've both been hit by these, and they're unpleasant. So let's do that one more time.
Got it.
And then you'll do it.
All right.
So I start here. I pull my cue hand down. That gives him the idea that I'm going to cut. Then I drop my head, the elbow towards the head down, bringing my cue up, step forward, and I can put it right into his face or his throat, wherever I'd like to put it. He sees me coming. He's going to do a tuta volta and strike me in the head. Actually, don't even do the strike yet. Just do the tuta volta.
Got it.
And that's why he's doing the tuta volta. That takes it off. Can I chase him? Certainly. But now I'm going across my body and I've weakened myself structurally, which means, just give me a little push with your hand. I've got no stability. So any strike that he does to me, no matter how light, is going to disrupt my balance. There again, we have dynamic against static. But it's in my footwork, not my strike, which is a really cool thing when you can pair strike to footwork and you can see the same things happening. I haven't told Johnny about that part of it yet. So let's do it again.
All right.
Now you're going to do the tuta volta and you're going to be successful.
Got it.
Oh, how nice is that going to be right there? That covers my arm, hits me in the head, and crumples my whole structure.
Would I be correct there in why I can just simply countercut you is because my haft is catching you in your arm. That's actually my stop of your thrust as well as my footwork.
Correct, because this puts me here and I've twisted my body, and this puts that in there like in other videos where we lean on each other's forearm or upper arm. He's doing the same thing, only it's a strike, which is really collapsing my whole structure.
Yeah.
But I've trained enough to understand that if I want my cue to move, I move the hammer. If I want my hammer to move, I move the cue. So as soon as I see his tuta volta, I don't chase his pole arm. That's where mistakes happen. I do my kayaking. And now look at the twist in his body. Then I just unwind and lay it into his head. Doesn't matter if I hit the hammer, if I hit flat, or even if I'm a little close and I lay the haft upside his head. I promise you, it will not matter to him. All of those options will have high levels of suckage. That's a technical medieval term, I believe. Don't quote me on that. All right, you ready to try that?
All right.
So, you're gonna pull it down.
The first piece there is down.
No.
No?
So you're not gonna lower both hands. You're gonna lower the cue hand.
Ah, so I want to do an elongation of my
Yep.
grip
So
here like this.
Go back.
Uh-huh.
Now, how much space is between your hands?
Quite a bit.
So narrow up that space.
More like here?
You want about an elbow, yeah.
Okay.
So then, when you pull your cue hand down, you bring the rondelle to your hand.
There.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I lower this
That's when I drop the hammer
and just walk
and
right
step
forward.
forward, and
Yep.
there's that line.
Perfect. Do that again.
Yep.
Tickled my cheekbone.
Gotta say that was too close. Sorry about that.
Ready?
Ready.
Go ahead. And look how that just sits right over my weapon.
Yeah.
And of course, I can just drop my cue hand and set that aside and we get into other things. We can do all these, but that's not the drill we're working on. That was for all the, but wait, people watching this.
Yep.
So he begins that action. I lower this down, he thrusts, I tuta volta, and I just cover his arm and strike him in the head. And then with my step, there's no way he's gonna not fall over with that. Did I push you? Let me rephrase that. Did I hit you?
You hit me. You did not push me.
I touched you, I didn't hit
Yep.
you. I want to clarify that.
Yeah.
So I did
safety.
not hit John. No stunt dummies were hurt in the making of this film.
Absolutely. Hey. You made contact to me there and you touched me, and it was a very, very gentle touch, and that was all that was needed to simply make me have to step. The barest of a touch, because of how twisted I am in that space, I have no structure, and there goes to that static.
Yeah, and now,
position.
I do want to qualify one thing. He did not step. You fell.
I fell.
He had to catch himself,
Yeah.
which means even if I didn't follow up right away, I have a beat of time in which my opponent is recapturing their balance. This is how I give myself extra time in the fight. I make them spend time doing something other than attacking me.
Yeah.
And it's important that we see the difference between stepping and falling.
That is a very important piece.
He was able to catch himself. He didn't fall to the deck, but you were still having to capture yourself.
Because anytime you have to catch yourself, that's a fall.
Yep.
Even if it's that little bit, a lean here, that's a fall right there.
And there's not only the fall of that, there's also the recovery of balance.
And it's what adds to the time is when you fall, you're forward. You have to catch this, then come back to your neutral.
Yeah, and that's just going forward. If you're going to the side, Jute volta, he can fall, but there's a lot of time required in capturing balance.
Yeah.
And that's without 65 pounds of metal on you.
True.
So it adds up quickly. Now let's move to the next section.
Good.
So you're going to set aside my weapon. We'll do this one, then we'll swap sides, and I'll do it again, then you'll do it once. Okay?
Sounds good.
John begins the action. I see that coming in. I counter. He thrusts. I step to the side. He's going to move his hammerhead over, bringing his cue underneath my staff. Then he's going to pull the hammer to his hip. And now he's just going to unwind with a strike to my head. And that'll throw off the strike. That's the side. Yeah.
I'm correct in the assumption here. Again, we're kayaking still here. So for the hammer to come forward, we want that pull of the cue to the opposite hip to bring that action into play.
Correct. And if you need extra range, just let your other hand slide in.
Perfect.
Great, let's switch sides.
Let's switch sides.
Go ahead and do it again.
Alrighty.
So you're going to win it. You're in it to win it.
In it to win it.
And there's that strike. Great.
Nice.
Now I want to show you why we have one more option.
Okay.
Off this counter, I can do a defensive action. Let's do it again.
Let's check it out.
Ready?
Ready.
And all I did was push my cue forward. And I did our center line drill from below. Can we do that again?
Sure. Just give me a minute to let my light stop flashing before my eyes.
Ready?
Ready.
But he can take advantage of that. And I'm going to show you how.
Okay.
So let's switch. You're going to do the center line drill from below.
Got it.
Be successful on this one.
Okay.
All right, and then I come through, and then you're there. Good, and then you're successful. Great. Do it again. And this is not something that I would pull out of the hat right off the bat. I would need to see how they move. This is something that I would evolve into in my fight. Ready?
Ready.
I was too late. Too late, that hook caught me.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it again.
I thought I did it with my too much this hand.
Ready?
Ready.
Here. And then as he goes by, I transfer. So let's do that again.
That shocked me.
So I begin. And now even if I miss, I can just drive that point directly into the throat. And I can accomplish that with a transfer, in which we've talked about in other videos. So thank you, everybody. I hope this little sequence is something that you can use, practice. Remember, practice slowly. John, do you have anything you'd like to add?
That was the first time I've ever seen the utilization of the transfer to go past, actually, let me rephrase that, to allow your opponent's counter to go past. And that is fantastically terrifying.
Now, there's one thing I want to qualify on this transfer. Can we do it again? When I do the transfer, so let's go to the point of the transfer.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Now, hold it here. If I'm here and the head of my weapon is forward, go ahead, I can't do it. So that means I need to go here and then keep my staff upright. Then I can do my transfer and follow in behind his weapon. If the front of the weapon is too far forward, their defensive action will capture it. So the transfer needs to be done straight up and down, not at an angle.
So it's when you have to know that you can't lead in commitment of your action straight from the shoulder.
Correct.
We have to move through our defensive position of putting our tool in front of us.
Right. And this covers the most amount of space.
Yeah. And therefore, in that space and in that area there, you're not committed immediately to the singular action.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really fun piece to see.
Cool. Hey, thanks everybody for joining us. If you liked what you saw today, please hit the notification button and the subscription button and share this around with other people. Our channel's starting to get up there. We're at almost 2,000 people. I would love to share this with more people so they can see the theory behind the art that makes all the different styles of the art work. We were using the techniques today to illustrate the concept. And when you understand the concept, you can utilize that concept in multiple styles. Do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
Not in right now.
Right on. Thanks, everybody. John, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
You guys all take care.
Stay safe out there.